beautiful people out there. We are very excited to have Jo Ohlson and Deborah Donnelly from Tablecloth Hiring with us today at our Piece of the Puzzle series with Yes Exclusive Flowers. I think it's such an amazing story that the tablecloth hiring has on its own, and I think everyone in the South African event industry has somehow came across your business in one way or the other. So we are really, really grateful that you actually made the time to join us this afternoon. So thank you so much. Maybe for the people who did not come across you or who are very interested about your own story, if you can maybe tell us a little bit about the tablecloth hiring, like what does that do? I mean, the name itself is already like quite revealing, but like just that you tell us a little bit what you're doing and how you got there and how the two of you met. So what is your personal story?
Hi, everybody. And hi, guys. The Tablecloth Hiring Company started 25 years ago already in Cape Town. I was quite a young girl then, but not anymore.
You're still a young girl.
So I started the business, and it's actually got quite a nice little story. What had happened is that I had 3 small children and I was just divorced. They were kind of like 10, 4, and 2, and I was looking for some way to get income. And, they had afternoon murals and things, so I didn't really want to get a full-time job. And somebody, actually a relative, suggested, why don't you go into the hiring business, maybe something just like tablecloths that you could put in your boot, and whilst you're fetching and carrying all the children, you could be just dropping off tablecloths. So it just happened that a couple of days later, I was talking to my ex-husband, and I said, my grandfather thinks I should go into tablecloth hiring. Do you think there's any money in that? And he went like that. Anyway, it was just a passing comment. But like on the Monday morning, I got a phone call from his secretary, and she said, hi, Deborah, I believe you're hiring tablecloths now. Could we have 120 in 5 days' time? And I went, whoa. Well, times are really difficult, as what happens with just post-divorce and all of that. But there's a beautiful story about how I got that little bit of money to start. And what had happened is that, you know what it's like when you get divorced. Within a month or two, the dishwasher goes, the washing machine goes, everything starts falling apart. And I had this handyman, and he was a British fellow who was incredibly tall and thin, and old Jack used to come and repair windows and do those sort of things for me. And one day, just before I started, Jack said to me, I have cancer of the esophagus, and I'm, what's the religion called where you don't want to take blood? Jehovah's Witness. And they were too scared to go to hospital. So I said, because they must do a stretch so that I can at least swallow water. I said, Jack, I'm an ex-nurse. I'll take you, and I'll stay in theatre with you, and I'll make sure that they don't give you blood. And so for the next 6 months, I had been helping this fellow. And at the end, this tall man, and when I say tall, he really was so tall. He was so thin and emaciated. The last trip back from the hospital, I actually carried him in my arms like this up the 2 floors, and that was the day before he passed away. Well, can you believe it? I had been saying to him, you're so thin, Jack. You need to have a bath. I'm going to put towels at the bottom of the bath. You need to get into hot water. You're so cold. And this guy would keep saying to me, no, my geezer's off. I don't want to I won't have enough money for my funeral. And I'd say, Jack, put the hot water on, Wow. Anyway, after he passed away, I got a letter to say that he'd left 5,000 Rand for me. And wow. I promise you, what was the timing that letter came just the week before I got this order for 120 tablecloths. And so I hadn't met Jo yet, but I went to another dear friend, and she matched my 5,000 Rand, and the two of us started the business. We sat sewing furiously, or I would sew and she'd feed the children and so on. And that's how the business started. So it was from my home, from the linen cupboard. I would go to the Good Hope Center where people were having exhibitions and have all my cloths in my old Beetle. And then I'd go up, and when people were setting up their exhibitions, this was before people made fancy exhibition stands, I'd say, oh, UBP, here's a green cloth and a yellow overlay, or, because I didn't understand at that stage, people only made white cloths. I was making them in your corporate color, that was like a big deal. And so I would hope to get 5 or 6 shows a year. And if I got a whole R1,000, it was huge money for me, And I think that, and in between I was doing beauty therapy at home and so on. And then the hiring industry heard that there was this lady who had cloths. And, I don't know what it's like for big hiring companies now. They don't really keep much linen, but they were struggling to make money out of linen because part of their money was going into the marquees, tables and chairs, cutlery, crockery, whatever. So all the hiring companies hated doing linen. And I didn't really conceptualize this business, but the industry just grabbed me, and I got sort of pulled along to make linen for everybody in Cape Town, that is. And so after a couple of years where I was working from home and using 3 outside laundries, I started to realize, okay, I can start having some overheads. And we got our first premises, and, as they say, that was really us in business. So
when was that, Deborah? What year was that?
That was in the 90s.
Okay.
Or 80s. What was it? 25 years ago. Please help me.
Okay. We do our math afterwards.
It was all last century. Anyway.
Exactly.
So, as I say, the industry in those days, you just had white tablecloths with a couple of little colored overlays and a couple of serviettes, but even then, not much in color. And I must say that my naivety, I just started doing things like cream cloths and black cloths and, oh my gosh, organza, wow. And because I'd also had a bit of a decorating background, I would get a bit of leopard print and things that nobody else had. So the next, I think a business goes like the steps behind me. The next thing that sort of pulled the business forward was that in Cape Town, there was a fellow who started a hiring company, but he had everything except linen. And he said, right, I'm going to put your price list in my file as if it's my own. And he was a small business, but he was quite cheeky. He would go and get big jobs because he had a wider range in the linen as far as colors are concerned. And the existing people in the market were not very happy that he was taking all the work. And so they got forced to put my price list in their files as well, as it were. So everybody started having to compete with the variety in fabrics and textures. And that was definitely another time when the business took another step forward. I'd say the next big step was for me to decide to do our own laundering. At the time, people thought I was crazy. They'd say, everybody's outsourcing. Why are you insourcing? And we saw a big improvement in our business when we were now able to turn cloths around a lot quicker. And also that we could have more quality control, because you would send your linen out to a laundry and come back all looking nice until you open them, So that definitely helped us to grow the business. And that was really the basis of how the business started. A few years later.
And how did? Okay. Yeah, carry on.
A few years later, I decided to go and live in the Eastern Cape with my son, who was the last child at boarding school. was many years later, actually. And I decided, I want to be a proper mom. I want to be a tuck shop mom. And somebody else ran the business for a while, and I was living there. And sadly, he passed away in his matric year. And I then had to come back. I sold that property, came back and bought another property in Cape Town. One sale fell through. I landed up with 2 houses, but only money for one. So that caused me to think, oh my gosh, what do I do now? I better make more money. So I think so often necessity is the driver of forward progress, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I discovered that Johannesburg didn't have a dedicated tablecloth hiring business. And I came up to Johannesburg, and I think everybody knows the story that I landed up sleeping in my factory with my dogs for over 2 years while I rented out everything else to now get the Joburg one going. And in the process, a man came to help me with my laundry. And he said to me, you need to meet my sister-in-law. The two of you are just the same. And that was
that was a very clever man.
Tell the story about it. Yes, so the day we met was at an orphanage. You want to tell the story?
I can. It was 10 years ago. And I was doing some charity work at an orphanage in Alexandra. And he had told Deborah that I was doing the work. I was painting and all that sort of thing. And Deborah brought her staff to come and paint, and that's really how we met. And then
it was our Women's Day project.
Yes, it was our Women's Day project. It just went from strength to strength.
Yes.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah. And then the hiring or event business.
I've been in the event industry for a long, long time. And I helped Deborah with a few things. We started the bunting together, and then just gradually over time, I left my job and I came to work with Deborah at Tablecloth Hiring. And it just it's been amazing.
Yeah, we work really well together. Have you, I mean, and I know that you two also work very well together, but you know what it's like where you're sort of thinking about a new color or an idea, or you in the shopping center together and you say, now how do they make this work, or what are the color schemes? We bounce our energy off each other incredibly well. Exactly. You know, I always say your creativity only comes out as much as the other person is like able to hear and see and hold what you are saying.
No, that's true. I think you need also, I mean, as much as you are alike, you need like a little bit also to be different, you know, so that you can actually really bounce off the things and say, okay, what do you think? Because if she exactly would think like the way how I think, then there is no point in discussing things. But I think that the magic lies in we understand each other without talking, but we can also like for the good reason, like fight, let's say, to say for the best outcome, you know, to push each other to say, no, this is not what I think is right, or why don't you think maybe this could work or this could work. So I think this will bring the best outcome for the company.
Wow!
Oh, hello!
Who is this?
One of my babies. You know, I'm also known as the crazy poodle lady.
What is the name?
This is Tui, and somewhere around is Jete, who's as black as you can imagine. Yes.
Oh, wow. So there's no color in them, right? There's only black and white.
Yeah, it's just black and white. Talking about that, it reminds me of one day. I love buying stuff on Gumtree and Marketplace. That's kind of, I think, like one of the things that happens to women who are single and have got no life. You sit on the computer at night, and I bought this lovely willow dinner set, you know, this pattern, and it was a lovely big set, and it turned out that Jo had a whole lot, like I think a 25 place setting we each landed up with And one day, I think it was you who said, "Oh, we could."
No, it was you.
I wouldn't have. Together, we've got like a 50 place and we could rent it out. And I think she must have done this because, bang, that's me. I don't need an excuse to, by the next day, I think I'd bought, I don't know how much stuff. And she thought, we'll just put it a little bit on the side in the staff room. And I'm going, we need a warehouse.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that was the birth of our yes.
Our China Blue.
I go large with the ideas. Jo goes large with the Pac-Man, like making it happen after me. That's one of the differences that you were talking about. Anyway, so that was the birth of our sister company called China Blue Hiring. And we've just loved that. That's been like, we don't even really worry how much money it makes. It's like one of those hobbies that you get obsessed with. You got to get more and more and more. And
all these beautiful old vintage dinner services. And they're all blue.
Yeah. No, don't lie. We did start China.
Yes. Yeah. And we've got some pink.
Yes. But, when people come in and
ladies, it's like going into I think for the ladies, this is like something like going into a candy store as a kid,
Yeah.
Like this is like when you can like play with designs and colors and things like this. I mean, like for the fabric, I guess the same way as for the China.
Yes.
But this is like really like amazing, and you don't even know where to stop. Like when you are there online, it's like, are we taking this one or this one? No, let's take both.
Yeah.
Well, I work on the floor in Joburg. And it's a very funny thing for me when a client comes in and says, "Is this all you've got?"
Because there's a lot.
Is this all you've got?
Okay.
Because
how many guests are you expecting? Over 1,000 or below 1,000?
We would make it happen. That's our thing. We
don't hold us back.
Sometimes the bookkeeper says, "Jo's been spending," or whatever. I think we get she's really so good with the clients, and whatever the clients need, I mean, she's on board and
make it happen,
making the things happen, and running upstairs to our sewing team, and just quickly, like the customer's waiting downstairs. Hang on. I think we're going to make you something quickly, and she runs upstairs and they run something up, and she runs down the stairs again with that bloody fitness watch. She loves the stairs, and and next minute, the poor client came in maybe for one runner, and then Jo sends it out with a truck.
Truck of a runner.
This is a very good salesperson then. And I mean, the beauty of, I think, generally what we do in the events and also wedding industry is that really we surround ourselves with beautiful things, like to create also beautiful memories. It's not like we're not sitting, I don't know, in a shop selling some spare parts for cars or like whatever, like we really we really like work with beautiful things, and it's so easy like to also convince others that it's beautiful because it's simply beautiful. You don't need to do much. Like when you can show a lot, then it's easy that people like fall in love with the one or the other piece, and they just leave the store more than they came intended to actually get.
Yeah, and I think that the passion that one can see with the two of you, and I mean, just while watching you, I was thinking like the two of you can fill a TV program, like it is like something like the girls from the grill, something like that. It is unbelievable, and how beautifully you match together. This is really amazing to see. And I just also, like, when I listen what you say, and I remember, like, sometimes when I'm very excited about some flowers or something, and I also cannot hide. So I'm also quite excited. Then I have to get my excitement out, and this is sometimes even the bestseller, even that I maybe have not expected it, but just because I loved it so much and I expressed it so much, also other people want to take part of this and wanted
You
to
want to share it
see
with somebody.
what it is, you know. And I think this is also part of your very unique business and journey, that both of you are so authentic, so you know. There's nothing like, I don't know, what sometimes in this modern world, you know, you don't have to show this, you don't have to do that, you have to be very polished, and you know, no, we don't have to. We have to be us. We have to be authentic, and this is what I can actually see on the both of you. And I got to know both of you like before personally, and I had this warm feeling like when I met you the first time, it was like I have met you before, you know. It was something it was something like I haven't had the feeling I just met you the first time, because you give the people the feeling like, okay, we know each other.
And I think also what Jo is doing, she's not actually selling, she is just there because she loves what she's doing. And this is what people perceive, and this is how people like go out of the shop, right?
No, it works.
I love dealing with the clients. It's very enjoyable for me.
Wonderful.
I like shopping.
Tell us, like, tell us, you also had like not only the Joburg and the Cape Town branch, you also like reached out to the winelands. So that was also like a need to go there, because there's there's a lot of events happening there, or what was your like main decision at the time?
The winelands, every single wine farm has a beautiful venue or a beautiful guest house, and it's world class. And over the years, I mean, I've seen weddings change over the 25 years, and we have so many expats that want to come home. And, you know, British, American, every nationality comes to South Africa for the weddings, because you know what the photos are going to look like. You could just about have a plain wedding and it's going to be beautiful because of the
mountains.
The environment is so fantastic. So a lot of people have got businesses out there, and it really helped that. So our Stellenbosch branch is a showroom and a sales office, really. So all the samples and everything's there. So it makes it a lot easier for all the clients having their events out there, that they can just pick up from that branch and come in there. And we're in a lovely center called the Woodmill, and there are a couple of other businesses in there that are also in the industry, and caterers, and so it's become a little bit of a hub, and it's one of those nice centers. It's got no Clicks or Woolworths or any of those. It's got art galleries and craft beer and a venue there. So it really helped to grow the business, to the point that Stellenbosch now does 50% of what Cape Town does. So, and there's just one staff member.
Unbelievable, actually. Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, you also have done like customized tablecloth, right? So according to clients' orders, is this correct?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
What was the craziest thing you ever had to do or have done?
A hairy tablecloth. Hairy? It's got hairs. Hairy?
Really?
We still have them. And, you know, sometimes you think, oh my gosh, we should be ditching these things. And then next minute somebody comes in and says, we're having an event and it's called kitsch. Do you ladies know what kitsch means? It's going to be like where nothing goes and it's all a bit odd. And then they find the hairy tablecloth and they get so excited. So we always say there's always something for everyone, and that we don't just do weddings and corporates. We do one-offs and deal with the public. And we can do anything. We're not just classical
dinner parties.
Yes, we our clients, because we supply to almost everybody in the events industry in some form or other at some time. The industry itself has also dictated to a large degree. For example, Sylvia, if you're going to be quoting a client and they've got a particular look and feel, and there's nothing in the market looking like that, and then maybe you're the second person that's talking about it, we're going to go and buy it because we know we're going to find it. We're going to find it. Yeah. Shopping. So sometimes it's.
I think, Jo, one day I have to go shopping with you because I love that.
We'll give you a trolley. We each take a trolley and fill it up. Fabric,
can
color.
I ask you, usually, sorry, like the line is a little bit delayed. What I wanted to know, usually when you go shopping, because I mean, you have a wealth of stock. I mean, you have a lot of tablecloths and napkins and everything there. But if you're going like shopping, are you inspired by trends, by colors, by season, by fashion? Like is there anything that inspires you, or is it more an intuitive shopping? Like you go, you like it, you buy, and that's it?
I think we've both developed an eye for what will sell, but I'm in particular a person that will look at what clothes people are wearing, what decor is happening, because I love decor, and those always sort of go over into how people want events. But of course, we're also sitting on Pinterest a lot. We're seeing what the youngsters especially are looking at, and sometimes Jo and I go, we don't relate to this, but we're seeing it all over. We're going to put it in, So sometimes it's a business
then
decision.
By the end of the season, we quite like
then
it.
We're like, oh, yes. Because the picture that you posted advertising today's talk was taken
6 years ago.
Before we went grey. So sometimes we realize that we got to ask our children, or we're going to look and see what the up and coming market is doing. Obviously, one of the big trends and changes that's happened during our time is the fact that people like naked tables. So, at first there was nobody's going to use a tablecloth again, because people are using, lovely old wooden tables or painted tables. And so we thought, well, sometimes that table on its own can look very cold and hard without, your cutlery and your crockery makes a noise. Yes. You need to soften it a little bit. Obviously, you guys are going to soften it with flowers, but we do feel a little bit of fabric on a table, if it's not going to be a cloth, makes all the difference. So we then started specializing in serviettes. So, Jo, how many hundreds of types have we got? We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So that your serviette becomes...
I've got a serviette fetish.
Yeah, your serviette becomes a significant thing.
And it's not an illness, don't worry.
So your serviette becomes a very
positive thing.
Part of what the table looks like. And then we realized that there are other fabric items that we can use other than cloth. So we started making fabric covers for boxes, rectangular and square. So it's a little bit of a riser with fabric, whether it's sequins or something, that girl who can't decide.
That very much.
Yes, that she can't decide whether to have the whole tablecloth and sequins or the naked table, and now we can give her both, and we made
also it gives different heights. I like that actually. That
it's a more modern touch, like for the people who like more a modern touch to the event. I think it's great because you can just have totally different styles like on it, and I think it's much more younger than a traditional like tablecloth, which is like looks very heavy sometimes on the table. And this is like very modern and fresh. So that is
You
quite nice.
also made like underplates, like covers for underplates, right?
Yeah,
I
we
love
love
them very much too.
and they are extremely popular. You know, it really can bring a look and feel, but that those little touches that so other than the usual where you do tablecloths, overlays, runners, chair covers, serviettes, that's what a traditional standard tablecloth hiring company would have. We've now started this new range where it's bunting, the base plate covers, the box covers. What else, Joe? Serviette details.
Yes.
And it's quite nice that we're recycling a lot of our cloths into these smaller things. So it makes economic sense at the same time. But people are loving it. They really, really are. We thought that 5 years ago bunting would be out.
I don't think bunting will ever die.
It's like absolutely amazing. We have one lady at each branch just ironing bunting. That's how much bunting goes out. It's like, you know, and we like it when it's tight, not this sort of loopy thing. And we also got this bunting in how many different types?
I think about 78 different styles.
So, you know, it can
and
be
each one's got about 10 or 15
strings. Yeah, we've got a lot. And sometimes, you know, like somebody said, please make it red, black, white, red, black, white. We didn't like it, but you know what? It looked good because it was his corporate color. And it
goes out.
It goes out all the time. Little botanical floral ones, and what else, Joe? Black and white.
We made
denim,
the mermaid
USA.
one the other day.
Yeah.
With that tail.
It's like 120 Rand for 12.5 meters double-sided. I mean, it's the cheapest thing you can do at an event to already say, party. So, we were surprised how popular that is.
Can I ask you, like, for example, because I think your volume of stock is like huge, and I mean, if you also tell me now, like, your business like is there already for 25 years now, obviously, like, trends change, there will be always like bestsellers or maybe something that you will carry through, but do you also like sell some stuff like at the end of the season, or where you say, you know what, this is really no longer what serves like our market? Or how do you mention something like reusing? You're reusing it.
Sorry, I remember many years ago buying a batch of grey tablecloths, and it was really like the weirdest thing for everybody. And then next minute, grey came in, and we couldn't get enough, you know. And also, as the cloths get, you know, we might have started off with 50, and then over the years you come down to only a few. Well, those cloths become fabric. It gets chopped up into other things. It gets recycled.
Could become serviettes or
I mean, this is amazing that you basically recycle in a way, like even things that you might not even have the exact number for, because I think like at least 10 you need of each and everything for something to make sense to actually like hire it out, because less than 10 I think it's a bit difficult. But so that you're using it for other things.
That reminds me on my mom's cloth, actually, because she has a cupboard where she has things from 20 years back, and like, I mean, she has the very special situation that her body never changed in the last 25 years. So when she pulled out something out of her cloth from the back 25 years, this is the latest fashion today. I can tell you, everybody is asking her where she actually bought it, and that's unbelievable. And it's somehow like a little bit like when you say you recycle and you keep it, and the longer you keep it, the more actually chance you have it comes in fashion again.
Can I ask you right now?
The only thing I battle to recycle is organza.
Okay. Sorry, it
organza's out. That was the one thing that we got rid of. Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you now, maybe also like I mean, with COVID-19 that we are in, a lot of people are talking about face mask and making face masks. And is this something that currently you are like doing and looking into? Yeah. So tell us a little bit more.
Fancy.
Yes. More about how, I mean, in light of like no events like taking place.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
And even
That
matching
looks
the
like
scarf.
a bank robbery.
yeah. No, obviously we have to be like everybody else and make masks. And they're starting to trickle down now. I think that there are a lot of people who are sort of doing the real massive quantities and stuff, whereas we sort of like more interested in like, oh, what kind of backing there she got we're more into the look. Yes, so we've sold a lot, but what's quite interesting is that last year we decided we were going to start an online shop, and we got a new logo and we started to make samples, and then we got really just too busy for it. So whilst we're in lockdown, we have been making a lot more samples of a lot of things. So it is something new that we're going to be launching very soon now, especially now that we can also
you can buy
online. So
Yes.
it's what's it called again?
The big event shop.
The big event shop, yes. So everything is a big event, Sylvia. Corona is a big event. You know,
Yeah,
that's
true.
a wedding is a big event. A baby shower is a big event. So there's lots of things that we are making. Each branch will have a little shop and a bit of a coffee shop with it to buy. We'll be selling serviettes, selling tablecloths, selling funky aprons, tote bags, some things for baby showers, some cute little girl stuff, plant covers, just things that we like to make. And we sort of concentrating on that now because we know that probably post-corona, COVID, picnic blankets, they're selling quite a lot now. So basically, we're going to be having a shop where we're selling and not just hiring as a sort of backup to, seeing as we already were sort of playing with the idea to be able to cover costs, because we're not sure whether people are going to come out of Corona and go, let's party like we've never partied before. And we really want to be with people and understand more than ever what human connections are really about. Or, well, I don't even want to say what else might be, but so we're just covering ourselves financially, but we're having a lot of fun making things, aren't we? How have you guys?
I like actually. Say, I will just answer, but I wanted to say I like actually that you are, even in a time like now, which is very difficult, and I know also it's very, very, very difficult, in particular for you. You have made recently like a very big decision also, like to go smaller during this time and to see when things pick up again, to maybe how to start again on a fresh base, but nonetheless you have not lost your spirit, your enthusiasm, your energy, and I just love that. I mean, I know what is all on your plate, and I can just imagine like how many people like rely on you or depend on you, like there's families behind. This is a huge responsibility, I think, and to still be so positive, that really I take my hat off.
It's inspiring. Like it's really inspiring to see the two of you like they're together. And I mean, everyone knows that most people nowadays in events are very young. I mean, they go there, they think they can really make a lot of differences. They are fresh with the designs. But I think, and this is why I love to have also people at your age and with your experience there that have a business like already of 25 years. It's a huge accomplishment. And I think a lot of people can learn so much from people like you in the industry, and particularly now as well, where I think you can only, in a way, survive when you are passionate about your business. Otherwise, there will be no future, because it is already as hard as it is right now. But if you don't feel love for your business, if you don't see the smile like on your faces as you're showing when you're talking about linen and face masks and napkins and things like this, then it's going to be really tough. So I just feel it's very, very inspiring. And I already thank you for being here and showing also us young generations what it needs to take to actually like be successful in the long run. Because by the end of the day, everyone can maybe do a short, quick business, you know, but what is important is how you can sustainably like keep your business afloat for the long run. So that is already very inspiring to me.
And in preparation of this chat, we were talking a little bit one day and the other, and I could really see from one day to the other how your brain was actually working. It was actually working for ideas, for new things, and how we can move on. And I could actually hear it. I could hear it over the phone, like how it was wheeling, like, you know, like how it was working. And that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry,
You know,
what was your question?
well, I just wanted to also remind people in the events industry that we went through a really rough time in 2010. There were one or two events companies that got work, but mostly we all had no work. We were so scared that there wouldn't be place for cars and everything with the Soccer World Cup, that most Cape Townians, I only had the Cape Town branch then, most Cape Townians left. Nobody had engagement parties, weddings, corporate anythings, because all the events had to happen down at the stadiums. And so we went through 2 months where we were sweeping the floors and thinking, okay, well, World Cup is over, we're going to get business back. But it didn't happen until the next year in February, because the corporates had spent all their budgets down at those what did you call them? Stadiums, yeah, you know, where all the marquees were, and all that money that was generated from those events left the country, went back to Germany. And it was, we suffered a little bit because there had been meetings for 6 months or a year before saying, Deborah, you're going to have to do the linen for all these stadiums. You're going to have to get laundries in 5 centers. You'd better increase your stock. I sold a property and increased the stock. And then at the last minute, the Germans brought in 52 containers of stock. They didn't use anything from South Africa, from washing machines to linen, everything. And we got no work, nothing.
Can I say, I'm so sorry for the Germans, but I think it was the FIFA. It wasn't the Germans. I just feel very sorry for every German that's listening right now.
We don't approve. We can maybe just say we don't approve of that.
I know you wouldn't. Yeah, so we traded out of that. Everybody struggled, and life went on.
Yeah. Life is going on. And I think this is also what we say to a lot of people, you know, life is going on. This is, even if it sounds for us, even for all of us, some days like this is the end of the world, you know, it is not. It is maybe the end of the world for that particular day, but the next day sun is shining and things come up again, and there's new opportunities. And I think we never should lose our faith and our trust in that things will turn out well, as much as we actually look for something, and it's on us how we deal with the situation. And even, I mean, also us as individuals, we have had in our past like a lot of like difficult situations, and we had to overcome. And I very often say the best ideas I had to create in times when it was really bad, because I had to come up with an idea. And like in the long run, when I look back, those ideas that I had to create actually
We're milestones.
we're milestones. Yeah, it's really true. So I really wish that a lot of people get milestones for their life and for their businesses in this days.
And I think, as what you just said as well, I mean, online, I mean, as per
Yeah.
also yesterday's change of the regulation, everyone is now allowed to do more or less like online business. So I think the whole industry is going to like change a lot, because we know we were the first company that opened an online store for flowers 5 years,
Yeah,
5 years ago. So, and
Yeah.
it was very
And
uncommon
look
for
where it's
flowers
taken
to
you.
be traded online.
Yeah.
But now I think, like, just out of the necessity, and like, not because people want to, but just out of the like the moment, they have to create some new possibilities which are online. And I think that's why it's very good also for you to go like the online route, to just like present whatever you have online, and see that people can purchase, and you just deliver, because you have the infrastructure already. You have trucks, you have drivers, you have like things that are already in place. For a lot of people, they maybe need to like reinvent their whole logistics around this online concept. But for you, it's already like a system that can work for you. It's just a different platform that you're using to sell your products. So,
Yeah, and sometimes it just like needs a new idea to carry a company into the future. You know, sometimes you just can also not carry on with the way how you did it. Not you, like everybody. I mean, like, and I think you have made the right decision to downscale and to move your power and your capacities towards a future system. I think this is very very good, and it will be successful. I'm 100% sure.
Sylvia, also just to say that we made an announcement that we're going to close some of our branches, take the stock back up to Johannesburg, and wait until the industry is strong again and reopen. But it seems like we're not allowed to. I'm talking about our clients and the industry. We've got absolutely overwhelmed by people saying, please don't do it, please don't do it. And people interested in maybe partnering with us or whatever. So we're investigating that, and we're not sure exactly what route we're going to go. But I don't know if you have had the same experience with the COVID situation. Is you can't see too far ahead at one time. I wake up and my view is different to the day before, and then one or two things happen, and then 3 or 4 days later, I wake up and the view's different again. And I think it's this constant changing and trying out.
It's part of the journey, you know. I think it's part of the journey. It's not that you make a decision today and you follow this decision and that is it. I think in these days where we are right now, it is like moving on a road, and every day, like you pass another place of the place on the road, and you have to see, are you going right, are you going left, or are you maybe carry on going straight forward? And I think this is it's challenging, but at the other side it's also good, because it brings us to the right decision at the end. I believe that.
I think
sorry, I just wanted to say I'm overjoyed with what you said, because when people perceive you like this in the industry, it means you have done a lot for the industry. And I think, you know, this is now like when things pay off, where you say, yes, you will be missed. Like when you're closing your doors, there will be something that is not the same when you are closing your doors. I don't want to say you should or you shouldn't, but I think from an entrepreneur's perspective, this is the best compliment one can give you, when people call you and they say, you know what, please don't do it, you will be missed. Sometimes, you know, I think we don't always, people think that we are in it for the money when you're an entrepreneur. No, I think, yes, it is something that you want to achieve. You want to achieve independence, and you want to achieve like a rather comfortable lifestyle. But by the end of the day, it is your brainchild of a baby that you have, you took it like really, and you are growing it, and like you see it grow every day, every single month, every year. And like it's like abandoning a child if you need to close even just a branch, and not even the business itself, but it is something where your heart is part of the business. And that's why I think that is just, for me, just a beautiful message from the people and from the industry to say, you know what, you shouldn't close. Obviously, again, it is like up to your decision, and it's a lot of responsibilities, and we know that a lot of businesses are struggling, and I really also like know that this is the case, and it's not just like a matter of you want or you do not want. There are a lot of other decisions that need to be taken into consideration. But I think just from an entrepreneur's point, I'm just so happy for you that people recognize the importance of your business.
And when I actually can add one more thing, what was actually absolutely amazing for me, and this is also something very unique, you even had colleagues, or as you have said, competitors in the industry that gave you their hand to say, we are actually helping you without whatever payment or storage, or we send truck or whatever. I think this is something very special in our industry, and I have not seen that before, and I'm happy that it happened.
Yeah,
It is amazing.
Absolutely. The outpouring, the human connection, the kindness. I'm sure it is happening in other industries as well, and we're seeing all sorts of wonderful things happening during this difficult time. But for us, I mean, I just cried. I was completely overwhelmed and very, very grateful, and I'm grateful to you too, both of you, for acknowledging what you've said. It was nice.
Most welcome.
And it was really came from the heart, and we actually thank you so much for sharing your story. And I think it takes a lot of courage, specifically also in the current situation that you are in, coming here and just giving your company a face and showing the world who you are, who is like the tablecloth hiring, and what are the faces behind the brand. So thank you so much, Jo and Deborah. It was a real pleasure. We wish you all the very best for the online business to take off, and obviously also for your support system to somehow evolve, and for you to make a really calm and informed decision of how you want to proceed.
And we are actually happy to have you in our industry.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, ladies. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.